Kenya currently produces around 3,000 megawatts of, roughly, 3,000 megawatts of energy. 3,000. We are actually not serious. We are not even near serious. South Korea, in manufacturing, 50 times is generating. The installed capacity is over 50 times that of Kenya. Yet our populations are the same. Just think about that. Energy is the bare minimum when it comes to manufacturing and high-level technology. It's the bare minimum. It's the least people can ask for. It's the least an investor will ask for. So 3,000 megawatts of energy. A country with over 50 million. South Korea, over 50 times. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that their GDP per capita is also our multiples. In my opinion, this is what I've been thinking. You know, when we talk about AI, a country like Kenya would benefit from AI on one segment. Data centers. Data centers. We become a hub of disease. Why? Because Kenya has a nice story of selling green energy, which is abundant. But what stifles, nini huwa inanyonga economy ya Kenya when it comes to power? We go back, again, patronage. When we talk about production of power in Kenya, it's Kengen. It has maybe over 70% of market share. The other people are called private power producers. Tell me any of your uncles who do that. Or your village mate who do private power production and they sell to Kenya Power. Tell me one you know. Who you frequent with in a normal restaurant. One. That since independence, private power production is a reserve of people who serve in government at the highest places. And then they set our electricity price. Because Kenya is based on something called take or pay. That which is conceptually was a good thing to make power, to make private sector invest in power. Take and pay is what? I signed something called a PPA. PPA is an agreement that I'll be producing 100 megawatts of power, and I'm selling to you. And you either take or pay. Initially, it was good to make me see value for my capital. But we need to liberalize generation of power in Kenya. It is better we have power we don't know where to take than have a deficiency in power in Kenya. Because all the other variables will be determined by how much capacity of power we have. Generative AI consumes around 8 times power than normal search engine. Generative AI, the one we all use here, generative, Gen AI, ile unauliza maswali. They use 8 times power, the background of it, than the one normal search engine like Google. 8 times. So it means the demand for power globally now has only one direction. One direction called headed north. Going high, going up. And this is not likely to change. And our government policy must be so deliberate now that let's liberalize these PPA things. That ukiingia in power hivi, the best way to secure your future is to sign a PPA with Kenya Power, with arbitrators based in London, so that even if any other government comes and they want to revise these terms, their heads, their legs are tied. So we can continue paying political rent even after the occupiers of the office are long gone. And then we continue triangulating our own economy. We must liberalize power production in Kenya. Let's produce so much power. These laws we have, after you produce these megawatts, you have to sell to Kenya Power. No, we break it down. If an industry needs 50 megawatts, let them produce without selling to anyone. They use it. Because you're already deficient in power. We produce as much power as possible. And we become a center of DCs because we have a nice story we can sell. We can even tell Microsoft, we can tell Meta, Amazon, and all the rest. We give you land. We also give you resources. Produce your own electricity. Set up your DCs here. Those terms will benefit Kenya better than just sitting around with 3,000 megawatts of power, an economy of over 50 million, and you're talking about manufacturing. Which one? One dam called Grand Renaissance Dam in Ethiopia. One. They are producing over 5,000 megawatts of power, selling to all of us around. And they're in the process of making another one of 3,000. Let me tell you guys, tutakuwa tunasoma Ethiopia kwa gazeti. Why should we make this happen when you have the opportunity to change the fortunes for Kenya now and in the future? We must break these PPA things and we liberalize power production because power is the biggest handicap that Kenya has in terms of production. And my opinion on power again, because I've been thinking about it. By the way, sometimes I wake up at night to think about Kenya in some sectors. And I write down some points because they disturb me. Take a company like Kengen. The government of Kenya owns 70% of Kengen. Is it 60 or 70? I think 70. What's the value of Kengen? If you bought Kengen today, the entire value is 63 billion shillings. 63. Kengen will be yours. But they are producing, let's say, close to 2,000 megawatts. Ethiopia, Nigeria, there are two companies that I would love giving examples with because they are listed. One company is called Geregu Power. They are producing less than half of what Kengen is producing. But their market valuation is 200 billion Kenya shillings. There's another one called Transcorp Power. They produce less than half what Kengen is producing. But their value is 200 billion Kenya shillings. Meaning Kengen, if we got a strategic investor, we could value Kengen at more than 350 billion Kenya shillings. We don't need to invest one shilling in the budget. We need a strategic investor, comes with money, the government sits part of the 70%, remains with only 35%, value it correctly at 350 billion, all this money can come and produce double the capacity we have in Kenya. We will have spent no money, we will have generated much more energy than we need, and the more you produce, the less the uptake cost and price. And then we make our economy much better, much more recipient to anyone who would want to invest in a place that has abundant power. Very lastly,